All right, so we're back, and you know what that means. It's time for another deep dive. Today, we're ditching those flashy marketing hacks.
You know, those quick tricks that promise the world.
Exactly. We're getting down to the real stuff, the nitty-gritty of how to build a business that not only grows, but really flourishes.
In any economic climate, right?
Exactly, no matter what the economy throws your way. We're diving deep into growth marketing strategy.
By Rose Jia.
Yeah. A true expert in the field. She's helped companies like Amazon and Twitch, seriously big players achieve incredible success.
She's got the experience, that's for sure.
And by the way, think of this deep dive as your crash course, your fast track to becoming what Gia calls a Renaissance marketer.
Ah, I love that term.
Yeah, it's so powerful.
It really captures the essence of what we're talking about here.
Right. It's about so much more than just chasing quick wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's about developing a strategic mindset, the kind that can guide your business through any challenge.
It's about thinking long-term, investing in your future.
So in this deep dive, we're going to explore the interconnectedness of three really important things: innovation, sales, and marketing.
The trifecta, right.
Yeah, and we'll see how they work together to create long-term success. But before we go any further, let's break down those terms, shall we?
Okay, let's do it.
I mean, innovation, sales, marketing, they seem pretty simple at first glance, right?
Yeah, pretty straightforward, you'd think.
But Gia really digs deep into what they really mean, and it's fascinating.
Oh yeah, she uncovers their true power, how they can really make a difference in your business.
So let's start with innovation. You might be surprised to learn that it wasn't always seen as a good thing.
Really? Huh.
I know, right? Way back in the 16th century.
Like way, way back.
Way back. King Edward VI of England. This guy was actually against innovation.
He didn't like new ideas.
He really didn't. He even issued a proclamation against it, like an official statement, and actually punished people for changing religious rituals.
Wow, talk about resistance to change. That's wild.
It really is. It shows you how much the meaning of a word can change over time, right?
Yeah, it makes you think about how our perspectives on things evolve.
Exactly. So Gia emphasizes that innovation isn't just about, those flashy new products or gadgets. It's really about solving problems and adapting to ever-changing needs.
It's about meeting the needs of the market, which are constantly evolving.
Right. It's about being flexible and finding new ways to create value. And in the same way, sales and marketing have also transformed, especially with all this digital stuff going on.
Oh, absolutely. The digital age has completely revolutionized those fields.
It's crazy, right? And it's interesting how marketing is often seen as just a support function.
Like it's just there in the background.
Yeah, just kind of there to help out. But it's really the driving force behind so much. It influences decisions and ultimately drives growth.
It's the engine that makes things happen.
Gia nails it with her definition of marketing: the act of influencing someone to make a decision.
It's so simple, but so powerful.
I know, right? It really gets to the heart of it.
Because ultimately, business is about people making decisions.
Whether it's buying your product, investing in your company, or simply choosing you over a competitor.
Exactly. And marketing is about understanding those people,
Their motivations.
their pain points, their desires.
And then creating value that compels them to take action.
And that's where the magic happens.
I love how this idea of understanding people ties directly into the business life cycle, Gia breaks it down into 4 phases: startup and launch, growth, maturity, and then decline and renewal.
It's like a journey. Every business goes through it.
It is. And think about companies like Twitch,
The streaming platform.
Yeah, they expertly navigated that growth phase and ended up getting acquired by Amazon.
Smart move.
Big time. And then there are those cautionary tales.
Oh, yeah.
Like Kodak or Sears, companies that didn't adapt and, well, you know the story.
They struggled to keep up with the changing times.
Yeah. Those examples really bring the business life cycle to life, don't they?
They definitely show that it's not just theory, it's reality.
Every business is on this journey, and understanding where you are in that journey is crucial.
Absolutely crucial. It helps you make the right decisions for your business.
So what does this mean for our listener?
Well, knowing where your business falls within this cycle helps you choose the right growth strategies.
I see.
Like if you're in that startup phase, you got to prioritize getting those customers, rapid acquisition.
Yeah, make a splash, get your name out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you're already in a mature phase, then the focus shifts to, defending your market share, maybe exploring new avenues for growth.
Finding ways to keep things fresh.
Exactly. And that brings us to this super important distinction between growth hacking and growth marketing.
Okay, break it down for us.
All right, so growth hacking, it's all about those quick wins, those tactical maneuvers, like guerrilla warfare. Especially useful in the startup phase. Remember Dropbox's referral program?
Oh yeah, genius move.
Right. Or how Airbnb used Craigslist in the early days?
So smart. Such great examples of how a little creativity can spark massive growth.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Gia warns us that growth hacking alone isn't enough for, that long-term sustainable success,
Makes sense.
especially as your business matures. You need a solid growth marketing strategy for the long haul.
It's like the difference between a sprint and a marathon.
You've got it. You need both to win the race.
And just like any smart marathon runner, you need to understand the terrain you're running on. And in the business world, that terrain is the customer life cycle.
Couldn't agree more. And Gia walks us through those stages.
Like a map, right?
Exactly. It starts with awareness, getting people to know you exist.
Right, making that first impression.
Then it's about consideration. Are they actually interested in what you offer?
So they're checking you out, comparing you to the competition.
Then comes the conversion, the big moment when they actually become a customer.
They say yes.
But it doesn't stop there. It's about engagement and retention, keeping those customers coming back for more.
Building that loyalty, that lasting relationship.
Exactly. And finally, the ultimate goal, turning those loyal customers into advocates, people who rave about your brand to their friends and family.
They become your biggest fans.
It's about understanding the customer's journey every step of the way and tailoring your approach to each stage.
So many companies do this well, right? Like Spotify, they create those personalized playlists to get people hooked.
Brilliant. It's all about creating a personalized experience.
And then there's Apple. Their whole ecosystem is built for retention, keeping customers locked in.
It's a masterclass in how to create a loyal following.
These examples show how powerful a growth marketing mindset can be. It's not just about pushing your product, it's about creating an experience.
And nurturing that relationship with your customer.
Which brings us to the heart of Gia's book, this concept of the Renaissance marketer mindset.
Ah, yes. The core of it all.
It really stuck with me. It's like it's more than just a set of skills, it's a way of thinking.
A way of being.
Exactly. And it's essential for driving sustainable growth.
Gia breaks it down into 3 key pillars. Being multidisciplined,
Okay.
thinking long-term with, investment in mind, and balancing the art and science of marketing. And each pillar is super important.
Okay, let's break it down a little bit. What exactly does it mean to be multidisciplined?
Well, think of it this way. It's about drawing on knowledge and skills from all sorts of different fields, connecting the dots, and finding those innovative solutions.
So it's not enough to be an expert in just one area.
Not anymore. The world is too complex, too interconnected.
So you're saying a Renaissance marketer needs to be like a jack of all trades.
Well, maybe not a jack of all trades, but definitely a master of connecting those trades into a cohesive strategy. Imagine someone who understands finance, technology, psychology, design, the whole shebang.
That's a lot to juggle.
It is, but that's what makes them so valuable. They can see the bigger picture, how everything fits together. That's a Renaissance marketer.
Okay, so multidiscipline. Check. What about thinking long term? With investment in mind, you said.
Yeah, because real sustainable growth, it doesn't just happen overnight. You can't just snap your fingers and expect results.
It's a process.
It is. It's a journey. It takes time. It takes strategic planning. It takes allocating resources for the future.
Got to be patient.
A Renaissance marketer understands that the seeds you plant today might not fully bloom for months, maybe even years down the line.
So it's like playing the long game, right?
Exactly. You're not chasing quick wins. You're building something that lasts.
Building a foundation for lasting success. I love that. And finally, there's this balance between, you were saying, the art and science of marketing.
Right. Which is super important, especially in today's data-driven world.
We've got data coming at us from every angle. So how do we balance that with the creative side of things?
That's the key. It's about combining those data-driven insights, the science part, with, creative storytelling with a human-centric approach.
So the data gives you the information.
The numbers, the trends.
Yeah. But it's your creativity and empathy that allows you to connect with those customers on a deeper level.
To tell a story that resonates with them. To make them feel something.
Gia's own experience at Twitch is a perfect example of this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
She faced so many challenges, limited resources, a super saturated market.
A tough environment to break through.
But she used this Renaissance marketer mindset to overcome those challenges and drive some incredible growth.
It's an inspiring story. It
Yeah.
shows us that this mindset isn't just some, fluffy concept.
It's a practical tool.
It's a framework for achieving real, sustainable growth.
So we've got the mindset, we've mapped out the customer journey. What else do we need to drive this sustainable growth?
Well, you need resources
Okay, that makes sense.
because it's not enough to just have a growth mindset. You got to have the right resources to execute your strategy.
So what kind of resources are we talking about?
Well, Jia outlines 6 key buckets: capital, people, technology, data infrastructure, environment, and time.
Wow, that's a lot to consider.
It is. Each one plays a crucial role. She talks about building a slush fund for unexpected opportunities, which I think is genius.
A little rainy day fund?
Exactly. You never know when a great opportunity might pop up.
Yeah.
And then, fostering a positive work environment. That's key to attracting and retaining top talent.
Happy employees, happy customers.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the importance of developing a culture of experimentation and learning.
It's okay to fail as long as you learn from it.
Exactly. You got to be willing to try new things, to take risks.
These are all such valuable insights, and she doesn't stop there.
Oh no, she keeps going.
She goes on to provide specific advice for navigating different economic climates, recessions, booms, times of stability. Which brings us to a crucial question for today's deep dive. How do you weather those economic storms and ride those waves of uncertainty?
Ah, the million-dollar question.
Right? How do you not only survive, but thrive no matter what the economy is doing?
That's where things get really interesting. Are you ready to explore how to do just that?
Let's dive in. Okay, so let's jump into those economic scenarios. First up, recessions. They can be tough on businesses, no doubt about it. Consumer spending, it takes a hit. Everyone's kind of tightening their belts, watching their wallets. And the competition, it gets fierce.
Oh yeah, it's like a business version of survival of the fittest.
You got to be scrappy to make it through.
It's true, recessions, they can be challenging, but you know what? They also present some really interesting opportunities.
Opportunities. Really?
Yeah, think about it. Weaker competitors, they might falter, they might not make it. And that creates space for businesses that can adapt quickly, the ones that are nimble.
So it's not just about weathering the storm, it's about actually finding ways to thrive during a recession.
Exactly. It's about turning a challenge into an advantage.
Yeah.
And one of the keys, G says, is really understanding your customer.
Okay, it makes sense.
Because during a recession, their needs, their priorities, they shift. They can change really quickly.
People are reevaluating what's essential, right?
Right. Cutting back on things they don't absolutely need.
So you got to be on top of that, know what matters most to them in that moment.
Exactly. Once you have that understanding, then you can tailor your strategies to meet those evolving needs.
Okay, I like it. So, what can you do? Can you offer, more value-driven options?
Maybe. Can you adjust your messaging? Highlight affordability or those essential benefits that people are looking for?
So it's all about showing those customers that you get it.
You understand their situation.
They're there to help them through this tough time. Okay, that makes sense. But what about marketing during a recession? Isn't that when you're supposed to cut back on spending?
Well, a lot of people think that, right? But Gia, she actually recommends the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. She says that when your competitors are pulling back, that's actually the perfect opportunity to stand out, to make a lasting impression.
So be bold when others are being cautious. I like it.
Exactly. Seize the moment, gain that market share while others are holding back.
It's kind of counterintuitive.
It is, but it can be really effective. And don't underestimate the power of building brand loyalty during a recession. Customers, they're looking for brands they can trust.
Brands that have their back, right?
Exactly. Brands that have their best interests at heart.
Okay, so recessions are about hunkering down, focusing on those core customers, and proving your value. But what about booms? It seems like businesses would have it easy during a booming economy.
You would think so, right?
Yeah, everyone's spending money, times are good.
It seems like a dream scenario.
Yeah.
But, booms, they come with their own set of challenges.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, for one, competition, it heats up like crazy. Everybody's trying to grab a piece of that pie. Talent becomes scarce. Everyone's trying to hire the best people.
So it's harder to stand out.
And it's easy to make impulsive decisions, when everyone's caught up in the excitement.
You get swept up in the hype.
Exactly. So Gia cautions against that. She says it's super important to be strategic during a boom. Use this time to build a strong foundation.
Build a foundation that can weather any future storms.
Exactly. So instead of getting carried away with the good times, You're actually preparing for when things inevitably cool down.
Makes sense. So what are some specific strategies for navigating a boom?
Well, first, she says, don't overextend yourself.
Okay, I see where this is going.
It's tempting, right?
Yeah, you want to chase every opportunity.
Every shiny new thing that comes along.
Yeah.
But it's crucial to stay focused on your core strengths.
Don't try to be all things to all people.
Right. Pick your battles and make sure you can win them.
And what's the second strategy?
Investment. Invest in your infrastructure during a boom. This is the time to build up your team, your technology, your processes, so you can scale efficiently when the time is right.
Because if you wait until things slow down, it might be too late to catch up.
Exactly. Booms are a time to build for the future.
Okay, so we've covered recessions and booms. What about those times of stability? Those in-between periods where things are pretty steady, not too hot, not too cold.
Stability.
Yeah.
Sounds nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of calm amidst the chaos.
You'd think it would be the easiest time for businesses,
Yeah.
right?
Makes sense too.
But here's the thing. Jia actually argues that stability can be the most dangerous time.
Dangerous. How so?
It's easy to get complacent. You start to relax a little. You lose that competitive edge that you had to have during a recession or a boom.
It's like that saying, you snooze, you lose.
Exactly. If you're not constantly evolving, innovating, someone else will pass you by.
So stability isn't really about stability. It's about staying ahead of the curve, even when things seem to be going well.
That's right. Jia says stability is the time to be the most proactive.
Interesting. So what should businesses be focusing on during this time?
Well, she says double down on customer research. Really understand what your customers want, what they need.
Makes sense.
Experiment with new strategies, try new things, see what works.
So you're basically using this time to innovate and prepare for whatever comes next.
Exactly. Stability is a time to build your moat, strengthen your defenses, prepare for the next boom or bust.
So we've covered recessions, booms, and stability. It's like having a playbook for all seasons.
It's prepared for anything.
What's the main takeaway here for our listeners?
I think the main takeaway is this. No matter what the economic climate, there are always opportunities for growth. But you got to be strategic. You got to be adaptable. And you got to have that right mindset.
The Renaissance marketer mindset.
Exactly. And of course, it helps to have Rose Jia's book by your side.
Absolutely. So much wisdom packed into that book. Okay, we've covered so much today. It's amazing how much insight is packed into this book. What are some of the key takeaways that you think will be most valuable for our listener?
Well, for starters, that Renaissance marketer mindset, like we've been talking about, being multidisciplined, thinking long-term, balancing the art and the science of marketing, it's a recipe for success, no matter what the economy throws at you.
Totally agree. And her insights into the business life cycle, the customer life cycle, pure gold.
Absolutely. Understanding where you are in those cycles, it's crucial for making those smart strategic decisions.
Right. So many businesses get tripped up because they're trying to apply the wrong strategies at the wrong time.
And her advice on navigating those different economic scenarios, it's super practical. It gives us a framework for adapting our strategies, staying one step ahead.
I love that. So let's wrap things up by helping our listeners put all this great insight into action. What's one concrete step they can take today to start applying what we've discussed?
Well, I think the first step is for them to really think about their own business.
Yeah.
And where it falls within that business life cycle. Are they a startup? Are they in a growth phase? Are they a mature business? Or are they facing a decline?
Once they've got a handle on that, then they can start applying Gia's frameworks and strategies to their specific situation.
That's right. It's about taking these big picture concepts and making them actionable.
Right. So it's not just theory. It's about actually implementing these ideas in your business.
Exactly. And don't forget about those resource buckets we talked about.
Right, right. Capital, people, technology, all that good stuff.
Do they have what they need to actually execute those growth strategies?
That's a great question, and one you need to keep asking yourself regularly.
No matter what stage of growth you're in.
But, we've focused a lot on the external factors today.
The business landscape, the economic climate, all of that.
What about the internal factors, the ones that come from within?
You're talking about the individual, the person behind the business.
Yeah. That's an interesting angle. We haven't really touched on that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about understanding your customer, really getting into their heads. But what about understanding yourself? as the business leader.
Ah, that's so important.
What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your blind spots, the things that you don't even realize you're doing?
Yes, self-awareness. I think that's absolutely crucial, especially when it comes to, growth marketing.
Makes sense.
It's about, being honest with yourself about what you excel at
What you're good at.
and where you might need a little extra support.
So maybe build a team that complements your skills, fills in
Exactly.
those gaps.
You create this, like, powerhouse team, a team of diverse talents, each bringing something unique to the table.
I love that.
And it's about, being open to feedback,
Yeah, feedback is important.
learning from those mistakes that you inevitably make along the way,
Nobody's perfect.
and having that humility to adapt as a marketer.
Right, because what worked, 5 years ago, even a year ago, maybe doesn't work today.
Exactly. Things are constantly changing.
Yeah.
The marketing landscape, it's constantly evolving.
So you've got to be flexible, be innovative,
You got to be willing to experiment.
try new things.
Right.
Exactly. That reminds me of like the whole Renaissance marketer mindset that we've been talking about, being multidisciplined, thinking long term, balancing the art and the science. It's like it's more than just a skill set at that point.
It is. It's a way of approaching the world.
It's a way of thinking, a way of being. It's about curiosity.
A thirst for knowledge.
Yeah, always learning, always growing.
Because sustainable growth, it's not about quick fixes. It's not about magic formulas.
Right. It's not about some secret hack you can find on the internet.
It's about building that strong foundation for your business.
The journey.
It is a journey, not a destination. And like any good journey, there will be bumps in the road.
There will be detours.
Unexpected challenges.
But that's part of the fun, right?
It is. Embrace those challenges.
Celebrate the wins.
And remember that the journey itself, it's just as important as the destination.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive into growth marketing strategy, inspired by Rose Jia's brilliant book,
So much good stuff in there.
what's the one key message you want our listeners to walk away with today?
You are your business's most valuable asset. Invest in yourself. Cultivate that Renaissance marketer mindset and watch your business thrive.
Beautifully said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and are feeling, fired up, inspired to take your business to the next level.
And remember, keep diving deep.
Until next time.